What if your consciousness is not a place in your brain, not a single center, not even a continuous stream, but a moment when information becomes globally available? For decades, neuroscience has searched for the source of consciousness. But every time scientists looked for a single seat of awareness, they found nothing. No central command, no hidden observer. Instead, the brain appears fragmented. Vision is processed in one region, sound in another. Memory, language, emotion, all handled separately. So how does all of this become one unified experience? Why don't you experience your thoughts as disconnected pieces? The theory, Global Workspace theory, proposes a different answer. Consciousness is not where processing happens. It's what happens when information is broadcast across the brain. The brain contains many specialized processors operating in parallel. Most of them work unconsciously. But when certain information becomes relevant, it gains access to a global workspace. This workspace is not a physical location. It is a functional network, a set of long-range connections that allow information to be shared widely. Once information enters this workspace, it becomes available to multiple systems at once. Attention, memory, decision-making, language, and that global availability is what we experience as consciousness. Modern research supports key parts of this theory. Using brain imaging techniques like EEG and MRI, scientists observe a distinct pattern. When a stimulus is not consciously perceived, its processing remains local and short-lived. But when it becomes conscious, there is a rapid, large-scale increase in coordinated activity. This is often called global ignition. It involves widespread activation across cortical regions, especially frontoparietal networks. However, this is important. Global workspace theory does not claim that the prefrontal cortex alone creates consciousness. Instead, it suggests that consciousness depends on distributed communication across the cortex. The prefrontal cortex plays a role in broadcasting and access, but it is part of a larger network. The theory does not say consciousness is just a spotlight in a literal sense. That's an analogy. In reality, it describes selective attention leads to determines what enters the workspace. Global broadcasting leads to makes information accessible. Integration across systems allows flexible behavior. Also, it does not claim consciousness is binary in all cases. While some experiments show all or none ignition, others suggest graded levels of awareness. This is still debated. Why we can report conscious experiences. Why attention is closely linked to awareness. Why unconscious processing is so extensive. How different brain systems coordinate behavior. But it does not fully explain why consciousness feels like something. Why subjective experience exists at all. This is known as the hard problem of consciousness. The theory does not directly claim free will is an illusion. However, it aligns with findings showing that some brain activity related to decisions begins before conscious awareness. This suggests consciousness may be involved more in monitoring, evaluating broadcasting decisions rather than initiating them from scratch. But this is still debated in neuroscience. Today, the theory has evolved into the Global Neuronal Workspace, GNW model. This version emphasizes long-distance neural connections, recurrent processing, feedback loops, large-scale synchronization across the brain. It is one of the leading scientific models of consciousness today, but it is not universally accepted. Other major theories exist, including integrated information theory, higher-order theories of consciousness resolution. Global workspace theory does something important. It moves consciousness out of mystery and into mechanism. It suggests that awareness is not hidden, not separate from the brain, but emerging from how information is shared, not where it is processed, but how widely it is made available. Right now, your brain is processing far more than you can perceive. Sounds you ignore, signals you filter out, thoughts that never reach awareness. And yet, a small portion of that activity is being broadcast. shared across your brain, held in attention. That is your conscious experience. Not everything you are, just what your brain has chosen to make globally available.